I'm an Upwork top-rated plus AI developer with over 45 successfully delivered projects under my belt. Pleasure to see you here. My name is Max, and have fun watching this video. What's up, hobos? I was invited to be the participant of the study of the Italian university on the profession of freelancers, and it is actually the paid project on Upwork which I took upon myself for completing. And in a nutshell, what it is like and what you're gonna experience in the next X minutes, because I have no clue how long it is gonna be. You're gonna get the great overview of what the life as a freelancer is like. What does freelancing have that makes freelancers wear the t-shirts of this color? And eventually you will get a greater insight into how freelancing works, how to start, how to make your first dollar, and what are the skills which will be in the insane demand, I think, for the whole 21st century, but 2026, the next year, is also the part of that time frame. So in 2026, just by proxy. Prepare the popcorn, even though I am all for healthy lifestyle, but I allow you, that's fine. As long as you're watching this video and you're not clicking off, then eat whatever you need. And maybe prepare the notepad and write down what you hear, because this will allow for the information to sink in, and later it will help you to be smarter when you talk to your peers, so they think you are super cool, and also it will make you appear smarter, and because you will be actually smarter when you talk to your clients, so that you make more money. So the huge win-win happens. Popcorn, optional. Notepad, for sure. Watching the whole video, absolutely mandatory. Let's go. Alright, so right now I will be reading the question, and then for about 2 to 3 minutes I will be providing the reply, or I guess answer to the question. That's how simple and straightforward it is gonna be. In total there are 18 questions, so that's gonna be quite a long rodeo, but I'm sure you are gonna love it. Can you briefly introduce yourself? No. Because I always yap too much, therefore it's not gonna be as briefly as you thought it is gonna be. My name is Max. I'm 21 years old. I am a Ukrainian who lives in Iceland, tourism purposes, and I have earned over $60,000. I have just crossed this threshold today on the freelancing platform #1 in the world, on the planet, and maybe in the entire solar system, Upwork. I provide the top-notch AI development services for businesses of all kinds. In the recent time, I started working more with real estate businesses and e-commerce stores, but that is gonna be more extrapolated on when I will be answering the next questions, which are more specific to my craft. But to summarize, I'm a young dude who lives abroad and makes money online by providing best 1%, top 1% AI services to the businesses from all around the globe. What type of work? Oh, I will also add the number of the question so that it is easier for you to follow, and maybe looks like throwing money, but in this specific context it doesn't mean that. Unfortunately, it means it's gonna be easier for you to dissect the video. So, question 2. What type of work do you do on Upwork? I provide AI automation services to businesses. Sometimes I do take a bit more miscellaneous projects, such as being a secret buyer or maybe just doing something what is capable of being done only in Iceland, because sometimes clients reach out to me with those kinds of requests, but those take up maybe 3 to 4% of my whole revenue. Therefore, I would say that in order to keep it simple, I just provide AI development services or AI automation, whatever you wish to call it. Question 3. Why did you choose to work on online freelancing platforms like Upwork? That's a wonderful question, because in fact I also have a strong profile on Contra, the other freelancing platform, as well as I have the presence on Fiverr, and if I remember correctly, 3 successful AI and software development projects on that platform. Why did I choose to work on those? To give a bit of more personal story, I was just watching one popular, well, he's not popular anymore, but when I was like 10 years old, he was really popular on the Russian-speaking YouTube. His name is Dmitry Larin, and I like the personality of that man. At least, no, it doesn't sound right if I say that I like the personality of this man. It sounds too metro. I like the personality of this person, and he described his entrepreneurial journey, because he was full-time YouTuber. He described the start of his entrepreneurial journey as being a graphic designer, taking freelance gigs on online platforms for freelancing. I don't remember if he mentioned Upwork in particular, but if you go to Google and you type in freelancing something, Upwork is ranked like at the very, very top of the search. So, if I remember correctly, I started on Fiverr actually, but the system on Upwork where you as the contractor are able to reach out to the client first is so powerful. So I guess that's the reason why I went with Upwork at the very beginning instead of Fiverr. Because on Fiverr you just improve your profile and just sit and pray that someone will notice it. Meanwhile, on Upwork you can take more proactive approach. Whilst you are boosting your profile, you also are able to just get a bit of connects and start spamming the inboxes of your clients. Question 4. Do you also have an offline traditional job? No, I do not. I was saying that I will be answering each question for a very long time, but this one might be the shortest one. Because I just don't have an offline traditional job. Which definitely pisses off my mom. Because she can't just get hold of how am I able to eat. I don't know, maybe I'm stealing. Or maybe I'm just taking the energy from the rays of the sun. But it actually doesn't make sense because I'm in Iceland. Never mind. Question 5. Could you describe a typical workday as a freelancer? So, to put it in 2 words, that's awesome. I could add the third word, the swear word in the middle, but I wanna try to keep the things as professional as possible. Therefore, I would say that that's freaking awesome. Because you are not tied to the specific time slots of the day. You're not tied to the location, and you're not even tied to the language in which you're working. So you are getting paid for exactly the value you're bringing. So you are not required to show up in the specific place at the specific time in the specific costume and just being told what to do. No. You are just provided with technical requirements. Most of the projects on freelancing platforms are related with software, so yeah, those are technical requirements, and you just deliver on it. Yes, you can get in the agreement with your client that you will hop on the stand-up calls, literally stand up, just telling jokes. I mean, that's what's happening in my case. That's not necessary. That's like just the extra service the clients of mine get. Not only the good quality of work, but also high levels of energy and good quality of emotions. And yes, you are essentially able to wake up whenever you want, work whenever you want, and then just make sure that you deliver on what you have agreed on with the client within the predetermined deadline. So I would say the description of the typical workday as a freelancer is partly already included in the name of the profession itself. Not the profession, but rather the business model, if it makes sense. It is very free. And just to finish it with a bit more realism, I guess I should have started with it. But anyways, I will sprinkle in some unicorns kind of stuff as well, so don't worry. The bad part, which is kind of difficult, is that there is no one to kind of drag you to the desk and just sit yourself down and work. So even though I did mention that you can wake up whenever you want, you can work whenever you want, the main part is that you must work, but whenever you want. In terms of you can work at 3 a.m., you can work at 3 p.m. Sometimes you can have clients who are actually overseas and you work at 3 a.m., but for them it's actually just the evening time, which is in traditional sense is a bit late for work, but is adequate for them. So in order to not go that much deeper down that rabbit hole, you must be disciplined and rather self-disciplined in order to be able successful at freelancing. That's the key point which I want to make. But having the experience of being just the cog in the machine, I used to work at the company which was serving the biggest Icelandic airline, and just being basically the robot who is being told what to do and following the exact manual and just being constantly managed, and comparing it to the current experience I have of, as I said, freaking waking up at 3 p.m., working at my own hours, but still working, I can totally say that the pain of self-discipline is so much more enjoyable and I would say fulfilling and full of sense comparing to the pain of just being brain dead when you are just constantly being controlled and just used as a bolt for the operations of that giant company, or maybe not necessarily even a giant company, where you might have a job and enjoy the opportunity of not thinking and still getting money. Yeah, that's basically the description of the typical workday as a freelancer. Question 6. How and when did you begin collaborating with an agency through Upwork? So, 2 years ago, when I was only trying to figure out what is that online money thing is, I was reached out to by the Ukrainian Upwork agency, who basically hired me to send the proposals on the behalf of other freelancers, where I was just totally commission based. So if I was bringing the project for the person, then I would get the 20% slice of the project's price. At that time, it was my first interaction with an agency. However, then we just part our ways, and right now I operate as a freelancer most of the times, but I also have the agency profile of mine on Upwork. I don't want to say mine, I just say it to gratify my ego, which is quite a big one, and it's the agency profile of Momo Technologies. And sometimes I apply to the projects on behalf of the agency, and even when I myself complete the projects, those are getting registered on the name of the agency, which is quite good. In addition to this, my childhood friend, with whom I cooperate right now, Vlad, he is also the member of the agency, and to be honest, right now I am a bit too lazy in order to set up this correctly on the platform, but some of the projects which are registered under Momo Technologies are actually created and put together by Vlad as well. And all of that began, yeah. Past participle, yeah. All of that began half a year ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was the spring, it was the end of the spring 2025. Yeah. What role do you play within the agency, and what responsibilities do you typically handle? So, considering that I am almost a single person in the agency, virtuously, I hope that's the correct word, I professionally combine the responsibilities of both CEO and the janitor. So it basically means that I am in the front end of the business, just welcoming the clients and taking in the projects. Also, in 99% of the cases, I'm also the one who is delivering on those projects and then presenting them to the clients. So right now, just from A to Z, from first foot in the door, or whatever the analogy can be for finding the profile of Momo Technologies or Max Matronin on Upwork, to successful completion of the project. Question 8. Could you give examples of the projects you work on with the agency? What is the nature of the projects? Those are AI automation projects, and one of the examples could be the automations of product uploading from the huge database of printing products. I will try not to use any locations or specific businesses names in order to avoid all that legal stuff. So the project involved the automation of the automatic uploads of the products from one huge repository of products in one of the biggest countries in the world to the e-commerce store of the other business who was more of the retailer, but less wholesale provider of the same product. It's just so hard to explain it when you don't use the specific. It's just so hard for me to explain it when I don't use the specific words of that product. But again, I just don't want to have any trailbacks. And what we were able to achieve with that project was that there were people hired, usually VAs, whose job was to just monotonously type in the products from one website to the other website. What was done is that it instead of taking 5 people to, let's say, fill in 200 products in a week, now there is just one person who can upload up to 1,000 products in a day by simply providing the links to the products in the database website, and the system automatically brings in the product onto the website of the agency's customer, who in this case is, just to quote myself, less wholesale provider of the same kind of product. And the second sub-question of the 8th question is, who's typically part of the project? How many people? As I said previously, most of the times that's just me, but sometimes I also delegate some of the tasks to Vlad, the other member of the agency, and he just professionally delivers on the tasks which I assign, and then I present the created projects to the clients. Question 9. What are your interactions like with other workers and managers in these projects? How often do you interact? Most of the communication happens at the beginning when right now not as much, because I've got the status on Upwork and clients have just implied trust when contacting me. But at first, the most tedious part was to just show the person with whom you're talking that you're not just a total scammer who is going to take their money and give nothing in return. You need to show that you are normal scammer. You will still take their money, but they will actually get 10x value back. And at the start of the project, or rather before starting the contract on Upwork, the frequency of interaction is very high. We hop on the calls with the clients, leads at that time, and we also have long chats where we explain what exactly is that service which we provide and how it will benefit the business of our client, and how exactly the project which they have posted on Upwork will be completed based on the expertise of ours and our experience of working on other similar projects in the past. But as we go deeper, I guess some form of chemistry, if it doesn't sound weird, some form of chemistry builds between us, agency, and the client. And after that, we literally understand each other from half a word. No, it makes sense in Ukrainian, but it doesn't make sense in English. We understand each other very quickly, and from that position, the interactions decrease, but the amount of value which we deliver to clients quite often increases. Again, because we know what kind of development they want, what they need, and most important, we know what brings money to their business, so we can even suggest ourselves what feature, for example, should be added on the website, something like sales closing or appointment booking AI chatbot. So client gets also some sort of AI automation education from us, not only the just robotic implementation of that what client has requested when initially posting the Upwork project. And the second sub-question of the ninth question is where and how, for example, technology, do you typically interact? The chats before starting the contract happens on Upwork. The video calls happen either on Upwork video meeting platform or on Zoom. The calls are actually booked via Upwork, both for Upwork video meetings and for Zoom calls. And after the contract has been started on Upwork, we usually move to WhatsApp or email-based conversations. We are not sending pigeons each other anymore. It's not fun. After COVID-19, it's not really practical because you can't wear the mask on the beak, or how is it called, beak of the pigeon. So we stopped doing that. It was humor, by the way. I just wanna specify it here. Question 10. What are the benefits and challenges of collaborating with others? The challenge is that for myself, I have a huge ego. I think that I know the best and always do the best. Therefore, for me, delegating to others seems like decreasing the quality of work, which is totally just the narcissistic grandiosity, which I love about myself, but at the same time is definitely not benefiting the business in total. So the challenge of collaborating with others is the need to trust the other person and believe that they can be actually as good as you at the thing which you deliver, or sometimes, despite how hard it is to admit it, they can be even better at that what you are selling. So giving up your ego plus need to communicate clearly, which burns up mental energy, is challenging. And the benefits is that you can save time and energy when you have met the right people to work with, and additionally you can just have more work done quicker because there are more people working at the same time than if you were just by yourself doing all of this stuff, all of the tasks within your business. Question 11. Do you perceive you to be working as a team? Why or why not? I think that right now I mostly work just independently. I do collaborate with Vlad quite consistently. I mean, he's not on some sort of payroll, but we have the projects coming in and working on the projects stably together for the past 3 months, so we are gaining momentum. But in general, I rather consider myself as an independent contractor who sometimes delegates the tasks to other freelancers with whom I work more frequently or less frequently, but not as a team. Why or why not? I guess two things. First thing is that some fear of giving the job to the other person and then being responsible for it, because I can't guarantee whether it's gonna be good enough. And secondly, I think maybe because of my young age at 21, I just have not been in the position of authority that often in order to just be that confident in just saying what to do to the other person. So I guess some personal constraints of mine might be the reasons I still don't work as a team, but well, it would be we. That's why there is still me working, but not us working. Almost this is not the interview. It's almost like a psychological therapy now. Amazing. I can't even imagine what's gonna happen in the next question. Maybe I will start crying. Maybe, just maybe. Question 11 is done. Question 12. Do you use some artificial intelligence tools in your freelancing work? Yes, I'm definitely gonna cry, because I will be so passionate about what I'm about to tell you, because all day long what I'm doing is using artificial intelligence tools. And that's so surprising. At school they punish you for using artificial intelligence tools, but in the real projects that's actually one of the biggest leverage points you may have, because those allow you to be like insanely productive. I mean, not in vain Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, in the chat with some other tech startup founders, they have started the bet on when the first one-person billion-dollar company is gonna be established. And that's all of that's this kind of crazy to even consider bet last 5 years ago. It is now happening only because of the artificial intelligence tools like and I'm not affiliated with any tool whatsoever, by the way. Well, I will post this video on my YouTube channel, therefore you can click the links below. So I'm partially affiliated, but at the same time, I don't know. If you are brave enough, just trust my word. NA10, Make.com, Intercom, Zapier, ChatGPT, interesting startup, Claude, OpenRouter for AI APIs, and maybe Google AI Studio just for all purpose AI, video generation, image generation, vibe coding, so app creation with prompting AI. These are some of the tools which I use all the time, and that's the ones which allowed me to hit 60,000K in under a year on Upwork. No, actually not under a year. 14 months, yep. Almost lied. Caught me. Question 13. Could you make examples of how you use AI in your work? Yes, sure. Recently I have developed the logistics platform for the construction material delivery company, and I used I used the Vibe coding extension called Augment Code in order to develop the whole thing, literally. I mean, if you're not tech savvy, then it's not like the magic wand. You just tell it, make the project, and it all appears. No, it's still the constant loop of feedback, debugging, and improvement upon what is the feedback of the client. But in general, yeah, that's one of the most prominent recent examples of how I used AI in my work. I was able to develop the full-scale, I will use this word, full-scale logistics e-ticketing platform using Vibe coding extension for Visual Studio Code. Same. Question 13. What are the benefits and challenges of using AI in your work? Challenges might be that, I actually did not realize it because for past 3 years I was using AI just all the time, but the other friend of mine who is the specialist in English, he's Ukrainian, but he teaches people English, and sometimes he asks ChatGPT to provide some information, and ChatGPT still might provide some incorrect information. Actually, it's not related to English in particular, but let's say he has asked what is the fastest way to come from Denmark to Iceland, and ChatGPT can provide some path via Norway. But then my friend can tell ChatGPT that, but actually there is a direct flight from Copenhagen to Reykjavik. And then ChatGPT says something in form of, yeah, you are actually right. That's faster way to go to Iceland from Denmark. So the challenges are that you can be more exposed to the mistakes made by ChatGPT, but because it is so damn confident in its way of presenting the information, you might just follow not the most optimal path simply because of how weirdly confident is ChatGPT. It has got some risks, if you know what I mean. And benefits of using AI is absolutely obvious. Those benefits are absolutely evident. That's the ability to produce so much more intellectual property by being just one body and one brain. Insane. Which later converts into you being a more valuable professional, which later converts into stronger bonds with your clients, which later translates into more money. That's how this whole loop is constructed, at least in my humble opinion. You could go and ask ChatGPT, but remember, it can hallucinate, it can be not completely right. I mean, my ego is still big enough for me to think that I'm smarter than ChatGPT, so, pick your teachers. Pick your teachers. The dude in the pink t-shirt, or a couple of tens of billions of parameters, unbiased LLM. Question number 14. Do you perceive AI as a threat for your work? No. I know there is a huge narrative of that people are not that secure about their jobs because there is a possibility of AI automating those jobs, and I must say that it's not the case. There is no possibility of it. There is an absolute certainty of this happening because all of the human behavior, our evolution is just one thing: optimizing our daily processes in order to make them more time efficient and result efficient. So making the results of our actions more predictable. And AI is just that. So if there is a person who is providing customer support and it takes 15 minutes to resolve one ticket, in the perfect world, and the success rate of resolving those tickets is something like 37%. If AI can do the same job with average average time of closing the ticket is something like 7 minutes, and the success rate is 92%, then AI will just automate this job. But the customer support representative who digs a bit deeper and realizes the value he's bringing to the company, he's able to go online and pick the tool like Intercom in order to figure out how AI can do his job, but at the bigger scale and with higher quality, so that he can sell this solution to other businesses later. Okay, I guess it was a bit too much. I'm sorry. I'm just talking all the time. Guilty. So, do you perceive AI as a threat for your work? Absolutely not. And question 15. What are your future plans and aspirations for your career? My goal is to hit $100,000 on Upwork by March 2026, and I am the AI automation expert. That's my career path. Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so I just do not identify myself with any specific career per se, but my main craft is AI automation, and I continue by getting more complicated projects on Upwork, if it makes sense. So not only bigger quantity of projects, but also higher complexity of those, which might involve thanks for your attention. Press the like button, subscribe, leave the comment, and if you want to skyrocket your freelancing career by hearing the advice from the top-rated plus Upwork developer and the other incredibly skillful freelancers, then click the very first link in the description below in order to grab your free trial of the Freelancing Live Freely school group. Stay awesome.